Okay, on the bench today we've got the Einhell leaf blower. That's the model GE-CL 18/1 lithium e-solo. So I bought this with my own money. Let's get it open. Okay, we've got a nozzle, which seems to be in two parts. The blower itself. Come back to that in a moment. Plastic bag. Looks like some instructions, maybe guarantee card, and that's it. As you'll see, there are no batteries included. This is a bare unit. Before we look at the product itself, let's take a quick run through the key features as highlighted by Einhell, and then we can see how well they stack up in practice. Further details and full tech specs can be found at the link shown. Okay, initial reaction, nice and light. I've got a rather old Flymo leaf blower shredder, which is a behemoth, if that's the right word. Very heavy and getting a bit unreasonable to use, so I was looking for something a little bit lighter, something that we can just pick up and go. Okay, so on the blower itself, we've got a trigger which controls the motor on and off, a speed dial, looks like it goes from 1 to 6, and then, as I mentioned previously, we've got the nozzle. So this comes in two parts, and I think the first part is a fit once, quite stiff, click in position, and that's pretty much it now. So you can use it as is, or if you want to direct the airflow a little bit more, you can push on the nozzle. It has a little twist action. So push it on, twist it, and it's locked. I guess you might be able to use it that way. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it without any batteries. So let's put some power on and see what it feels like. Now, like most of these tools, once you're hooked into a battery format, you tend to stick with the same format. Now, I've got a Einhell lawnmower, cordless lawnmower, which uses these 3 amp hour 18 volt batteries. I have 2 of these already. I recently bought, well, it's a couple of months ago now, a strimmer, and that strimmer came with a free, in inverted commas, 2.5 amp hour battery and charger, which I've got here on the bench. The chargers for the lawnmower I've got wall mounted, make it easier for charging. So I've ended up with, now I have 3 batteries, 2.5 amp hour and 2 3 amp hour batteries. I think this is really designed for use with a 2 amp hour battery, or 2.5 I should say. It's a little bit lighter, and we'll see what it feels like. Well, this would certainly give some extra run time. So let's see if we can get it plugged in. Fairly straightforward. That's on 6, let's tone it down a little bit. Definitely a little bit quieter. So, easy to use. The batteries, like all of the power exchange units, come with a charge indicator. In this case, fully charged with 3 green LEDs. I must admit I prefer the green LEDs to the red ones on the slightly larger battery. Don't know why, just looks a little bit better in my mind. But anyway, small point, nothing to do with the blower itself. Okay, let's see how it works. Leaves collecting in this drain are always a bit of a problem. It means you have to get down on your hands and knees. Let's see what happens. That's on setting 4. I think it could do with a little bit more oomph. So let's turn it up to 6. One area where the leaves always seem to congregate is behind this little shed here, which usually means trying to get something behind it and pulling them out. So let's see how the blower does. So I've initially got it set on level 5 and I've fitted the extra nozzle. See how this goes. Now turn the nozzle round so it's facing upwards a little bit and whack the power up to number 6 and see how that does. Oh yeah, much better. I think I'd class that as a success. 5 or 6 really needed to shift those, but they were in a restricted position, albeit they're pretty dry leaves. Okay, I'll just freeze the video here for a moment, as there are a few additional comments I wanted to make that didn't come to mind while shooting the video. Firstly, choosing to do a review of a leaf blower in mid-spring probably wasn't the brightest of ideas, with a distinct shortage of leaves in the garden. The example uses I've shown were the best I could rustle up, if you pardon the pun. After using the blower a little more since, I think the shorter fixed tube is best suited to blowing leaves along in a wider area, for example blowing them off a lawn or along a driveway. The additional tip section really comes into its own when you're trying to blast the leaves out from underneath something or from a restricted area. I think we'd have seen a better result if we'd have used the tip when we were clearing the leaves from the drain. Technique also comes into it, as fitting the tip in the upturn position allows you to get some air underneath the leaves. I've also used the blower to clear out dust from the workshop, and it does that without any difficulty at all. A lower speed setting seems fine for this, unless you want to create an absolute dust storm. So how does it compare to other brands? Well, I can't say really. I haven't looked at them in detail, to be honest. So why do I buy this one then? I've had a good experience with my cordless Einhell lawnmower, and having also bought an Einhell strimmer, it just made sense to stick with the battery format. Add to that, it was a pretty reasonable price, and it was an easy decision. If you've got a very large garden or suffer from huge numbers of leaves each autumn, then there are possibly better options available. But if you're looking for a lightweight, easy to use blower, then I think this hits the mark. Anyhow, back to the video. So, only tested it for 5 minutes or so, but initial reactions seems good. Do like the weight, it's nice and light, so it's not going to be too much strain. I had read a review that somebody said they didn't like the fact that the trigger was part of the carrying handle, but I've not found that to be a problem so far. Just for an experiment, we'll put in the larger capacity battery. Yeah, you can feel the difference, but I wouldn't say it's unduly problematic. I think for any leaves, you know, that are a big pile of leaves, I think you're going to need it somewhere between the 5 and 6 setting. I think down at the 2 and 3, it's very much more a gentle. Still get some blow, but it's very much more a gentle setting, so that's not going to shift any leaves at all. But for moving some dust around, maybe that's okay. So I think we'll probably be using it mainly at the upper setting. Okay, yeah, the nozzle, I think the early version of this didn't have a detachable nozzle tip. I think that's a good idea. So all told, I'm happy with what I've bought. I think it was $29.99 for the Burr unit on Amazon about 4 weeks ago. So that would be middle of April. I'll find the link if it's still there. So there we have it, the Einhell leaf blower. Nice lightweight tool. Plenty of puff once you get it at the upper setting. certainly recommend it. Certainly if you are already a Einhell Power Exchange battery user. Okay, I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done already, please do consider subscribing for more tool reviews. If you're interested in solar power, got a number of videos on our experiences going with solar power. So please do take a look at the other content on the channel, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks.